So here you guys are going to have this blank chart, and what you're going to try to do is from the text that you have in front of you, I would like you to attempt to try to figure out what do you think the endings could be if the verb is an AR verb and if the verb is an ER and IR verb. Every verb in this entire story is in the imperfect form. So there's nothing but imperfect in this entire story. So you're going to try to look at patterns and see if you can figure out what the endings would be for each subject. There is no right or wrong answer when you're doing an inquiry piece. It's what you think the answer could be, so you don't have to ask me, is this right or not? You're trying to predict what the ending would be based upon the evidence that I've given to you in the story. So right now with the person you're next to, you're going to have a little discussion. Take a look at each little box and see, okay, what's the verb in here? What's the ending? Is there a pattern? What type of verb is it? Is it an AR verb? Is it an IR verb? Is it an ER verb?
Are you ready? AR. That would be, I'm assuming, yellow. That would be wait, no, here's IR. So, yeah, would be Hablar. Oh, no, it might be hablar. Yeah, what's Amba. This is fine. Okay. Amba right here. That's Amba.
If you feel stuck or this is totally out of your comfort zone, I recommend that you do the following. That you go through in each text box, discover or highlight or underline each of the verbs that you see. In this text box, there are two different verbs. There's one here and there's one here. Then I would go and say, is this verb in the infinitive? What is that verb in the infinitive? Say, okay, so in the verb in the infinitive, this is an AR verb, so this must be some sort of AR type of ending. So that's kind of where I'm wanting you to go if you haven't figured that piece out yet. Everybody's paper, you should have every verb either highlighted or underlined. And don't forget there's a back side to it.
by the end of it, you just see Ben, he's moving to Mexico.
I feel like
One of the things that's tricking you guys is a lot of you think that this verb is hablar. Is there an L in there? No, the verb in its infinitive is haber, which you're not used to seeing. What you're used to seeing is this. So this verb, this is this verb in the infinitive. In present tense we say I. What does I mean? There is or there are.
We need to have everything filled out.
You're going to, for example, you obviously don't have to go social, so I want you to predict what do you think the social's ending would be. So what do you think the no social's ending might be, even though we might not have the social's one yet? You're trying to predict the coming pattern.
They really get home from school
Might be.
and like you know just like lay down.
And remember, whatever you're choosing for your endings, it can't be the same as any other verb tense. So some of you are choosing O for just plain O for the yo form, but that's what we have for present tense. So how could you tell the difference between the two?
How about you?
You can't. There's going to have to be something different.
If this is right, then I'm a genius.
Or is it Bob?
I think it's
Well, no, because the verb is Amar.
yeah. And you got it on AR and then you back the
You're just robbing out.
Well, anytime you conjugate any verb, you're going to drop the AR, IR, ER.
yeah, and then you put the
So that means the AM is the root now. So that means that's what you're going to be adding to it.
Oh.
yeah.
I wonder.
That one's
What?
or maybe
Predict, be a risk taker. It's okay if it's not correct.
Are these the only three that
eBay.
Yes, those are the ones that show. So that means you're going to take, now you're going to take what you think the pattern might be from that.
No.
That's a low key. It has to be in it. Right? It has to be there. It has to be in it. It has to be in it. Okay.
So what verb is this verb in the infinitive? Veneer. What's this verb? You want to see how you guys did?
On the midterms?
I think I got
I don't know
all the
about that
AR
because I have people who need to finish them.
all the
So what is
AR
that?
right, but all
Whenever
the
they get
ER.
finished.
Wait, so why did you say, oh! You said you want to see how we did on this.
No way. Oh, so good. Man, I was low. Why did you not? Low.
I don't want to say
Wow, we almost did good, but
I think we did pretty good.
Close.
Why are these two the same?
I'm going to talk about that.
What is this form even for?
Imperfecto is the past tense, just like preterite is the past tense, pretérito. We use them both when we're talking about the past. Imperfecto is used when we want to describe what we used to do. So it's a different type of past tense. We're going to kind of do a little bit more exploration of that today. So in order to form the imperfect, like any other conjugation, we'll drop those endings. And these will be the new endings. So we have, repitan, aba, abas, aba. What do you note over that lovely A right there?
Accento.
Acento. So we have abamos. No, abamos. There we go. Abais. Abang. So what, did someone just comment that it irritates me that both of these are the exact same? So what form is this? The yo form. What's that form?
2. Oh, I wasn't even looking at the board, my bad.
That's the L, ella, usted form. So if I say amaba, how do I know if it's yo or the L form?
Yeah, you
Nope. So,
Other clue word.
Pray.
so how, pray, please, I need to figure it out. So what subject do I not have to use in Spanish? So I don't have to use the yo, right? I can drop the yo. But can I drop the L, ella, or usted?
Never.
So that means if you don't see a subject and there isn't something else indicating that the subject is L, a, usted, it's going to be the yo form. But here you're going to have to make sure that you let us know if it's L, ella, usted, some shape or form. So let's look at our IR and ER endings. Ready? Notice that there's an accent over every single I. Or the first I, sorry. So we have ia. Repitan, ia. Ias. Ia. Iamos. Iais. But wait a minute, Senora Wolf, you told us we're going to have 3 vowels in a row.
Come on, Senora Wolf.
But why do you think we can have 3 vowels in a row there?
It's got an accent.
Like, I get my son in here. However does this stupid thing he does. Alright, so we have Ian. Ian. Got it, Ian?
Yeah.
So, of course, we have completely 3 irregular verbs, Sean. You could do the little happy dance, so you only have to worry about 3 verbs, but they're irregular in every tense, so not like it's a big surprise. What does stare mean? Please tell me you remember.
To be.
Ear.
To go.
There. Thank you. Only 3 irregulars that we have. That's it. So let's see how they are pronounced and written. Repitan. Era. Eras. Era. Éramos. Erais. Eran. No, not Iran. Eran. So we got Iba. Iba. Ibas. Shh. Juntos. Sean. Iba. Íbamos. Ibais. Iban. So take a look at the verb ver. All they did was to add the E back in. So they add, oh yeah, but look at that. So they added the E back in. And since they added the E back in, notice it has the exact same endings as the ER and IR. So the only thing different is they added the E. So we have veía, veías, veía, veíamos, veíais, veían. There we go. So, did you see any of these irregular verb forms in any place in the story?
Yeah.
Where?
In mine.
Where did we see era, iba, or veía? So is it here? No. Here. No. Here. No. I'm going. Jugaban. Estaba. Dormía. Amaba. Oh, here we go. Era. Era. So now let's go back. Let's look at the story again and see if we can figure out what the story is saying in the past tense and how it's different from using the preterite. So why are we using imperfect rather than using preterite? So here we go. So haber, meaning I or there is or there are. How would we say that in the past tense? There was or there. There used to be. There was. So what's una vez mean? Doesn't mean one time. It means once. Oh, so that sound like a familiar story to you?
Giving.
How about any cuento that you would read? What's the first thing you typically will hear?
Look at the picture.
Guess what you just learned how to say in Espanol.
What?
Once upon a time. And guess how we say that in Espanol? Había una vez. Fairy tales in Espanol. I'm so excited. So, here we go. Once upon a time. Do I know when this story occurred in the past?
No, you don't.
Once upon a time. Did it occur just one time?
Yes.
When?
A time.
Do we know?
No.
So it's an unknown. It's unknown when the story occurred in the past. We know it's in the past, but we don't know when. What's amar mean?
To love.
To love. So we have loved. Y todos los días el niño venía versus using vino. Vino is that he came one time and that was it. Is that what they're saying it? Is it saying that here?
No.
What's todos los días mean?
A lot.
Every single day. Over and over and over and over. So it didn't just happen one time. He lost the streak. And every single day he shows up. And what else does he do every single day? That's not the verb recoger.
Finds it. Drops it. Falls out of it.
Recoger.
Takes it.
Picks it up.
Recoger. You got it. So what's he doing? What's he picking up?
Throws the leaves. Leaves.
Okay. So
Follas.
he's going like this.
Grab.
So he's picking them up and he's picking them up and he's. So is it an action going on in the past?
He used to pick up.
So he used to pick up on a daily basis. So if I said he climbed, that means he climbed and he's done.
He used to climb.
So that means because every day he's doing the same thing over and over. And what do we call that when we do the same thing?
Loner.
It's a type of repetition. You're a loner, you're a loser. Like, so every day you brush your teeth, so you must be a loser.
Routine.
Oh!
Wait, what are you saying? Oh, routine.
It's your routine.
On the regular.
It's a habit. It's a habitual action that you do routinely, frequently, often. So every single day he's going up and going up and going up and going. The next day he goes up. He's going the next day. But we don't. Do we know if he stopped doing it?
No.
Did the text say he stopped doing
The
it?
head?
No, so that's, once again, it's unknown. Okay, so what do you think Rama might mean?
Leaves.
Well, we know that this means leaves because oh, branch. There you go. So he's hanging, dangling, swinging. What did you hear me say? The same thing over and over again. He's hanging, dangling, swinging, dangling, swinging, dangling, swinging.
He's playing. Where'd he go?
If he was doing it,
Heaven.
he's swinging, he's dangling. You got your ing.
And
And-
he ate the apples.
But if he ate the apple, that means he ate one apple and didn't eat any more.
To eat the apples.
See the multiple apples dropping? Core.
Oh.
Yep, he was that hungry.
Look at the bottom of her.
He loves that tree so much he'll eat it off the ground. He doesn't care. Okay, so what are they both doing?
Plays.
What are they both doing? They're both.
There's a bunch of.
Oh, who's really?
We're playing or used to play on a daily basis every single day.
Hide and seek.
I bet. Hide and seek. And when. What's this saying?
When he was tired.
When he was feeling tired.
Under.
But did he go to sleep? And he's
He slept.
if he slept, that means he's no longer
He used to sleep under
sleeping.
the tree.
He used to sleep.
He used to love the tree a lot.
And a Nino loved the tree. And the tree
Was happy.
was happy.
The tree was happy.
That's correct. This is a cuento. You can have the tree talk. Yeah, the tree would do whatever you want it to do.
Oh, I forgot. it was
Yep.
story.
Mm-hmm. No, this is real life. The tree really do.
nonfiction.
Cool.
So, shh. So right here at the bottom, we have, there are 9 different rules for using the imperfect. You should be able to recognize 4 of them within this text. So, what I'm wanting you to put here is to kind of talk about what is the reason why this is using imperfect rather than using preterite. What is the pattern? There's something that's going on in a bunch of the different pictures that would indicate, this is when we're going to use the imperfect tense. So you guys are going to kind of talk about that amongst yourselves. I like to see at least 1 bullet. If you get all 4, I'll be even happier. Yep, there should be 4 that you should be able to figure out. And there's 9 altogether. So go for it. Give it a try.
Why did Noto go? Where?
The other one.
So I'm peeking. I should see at least one thing because I went through and gave you a bunch of different ways to know. Figure it out. But that's not like the most important kind of thing. But it's like
I can't believe we're doing a dancing unit in gym. That's ridiculous.
I know.
So dumb.
What?
Shows your gender.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
Dance.
would have been really helpful if you wrote down the stuff as I was going over it. That would be extremely helpful.
I have 12 and
We better not have to dance with them.
Yeah, we got some.
We don't have the best gym class.
So if you guys wrote down when I was writing down, you should be able to figure out minimum one of them.
I'm on 2.
Okay, you know what? I don't have any better ideas.
And I'll leave this up here for those of you who did not write anything.
13.
And then share what you
Oh, yeah,
have
put
with
that
the
on.
people around you, because maybe you can kind of
Really?
divide them by
Damn it, I had one in my mind, now it's gone.
You don't know when.
Oh, I hate to break it to you, but it's probably.
We're staying the rules. Just over these 2 of them. Incompleted.
I just see at least one bullet filled out. Come on.
I just found everything.
They know how to write.
Oh, thanks, Jim.
Almost popped out. What is?
Okay, here we go. See how many you come up with that you came up with on your own. So several years ago, I had my students, when I first started teaching preterite versus imperfect, I said, can you come up with some mnemonic? They came up with death wads.
Oh, that, yeah.
I'm keeping it. I'm not changing it because I've changed my notes. So, death wads. So all 9 of these things are all indicators that we should be using the imperfect tense. Once again, imperfect tense is past tense. So if we are talking about the past, this is one of the forms that we will use. And the first one is description. A bunch of you guys wrote description, and you were correct. So when you describe people, or places, or things, and you're describing it in the past, you will be using the imperfect tense. When we want to describe something in the present tense, what verb do we typically use?
There.
And what else do we need to have to indicate we are describing it? So if I have yo soy, and then now how am I going to make it a description? So yo soy, and then I have a subject. I'm the subject. Yo. Yo's the subject. Ser, yo soy. So I am.
Oh, read it.
Emotion.
No, not emotion, because it's a description.
The description.
So what's a description word? What do we call those? Adjectives. So if we use adjectives in the past, we typically use the imperfect tense, which is why writing an essay in the past has been a challenge. So let's get some examples here. You ready? I want to say he. Actually, I'm going to try this. I'm going to write in Spanish first. Why did I not need to have a subject just before era? Because I put it afterwards. But how would I translate this in English? He was a good-looking boy. He was a handsome boy. So I'm describing someone in the past.
Was he now?
Hmm? He was, in my opinion, he was a handsome boy. Whoever the Chico, anonymous Chico is. We don't know, and that's another thing to why it's imperfect, because we don't know if anything is done. We know it's done if we use preterite. So emotion, once again, emotion is a description of how we feel. So typically we will use a star or sentirse. So just like in the story, how was that boy feeling before he was taking a little nap?
Tired.
And in case you didn't realize, you are writing these things down instead of staring at me. So what does this say in English? He was tired. Cross my fingers. When you want to say how old you are, what verb do you use? Tener. So we want to say how old somebody was. So when I was 6, when I was 10. And typically when you use this expression, you'll usually have when I was such and such an age, then another clause. So I'm going to actually write that all out. Cuando tenía 8 años. So that would say when I was 8 years old. And the second part of the second clause of the sentence could be either imperfect if we're using another description, or it could be preterite if we say that, like, I went someplace. When I was 8, I went on a trip. Telling time, what verb do we use for telling time? Ser. We want to say the date, the time, the month, any of those things. We're using the verb ser. If we're talking about the time in the past, we're talking about the date, the month, the season, any of that stuff, we're using the imperfect tense. So I want to say that it was 3 p.m. Any idea how I'd say it was 3 p.m.? Do we have the word? Be careful. It's got to be imperfect. So that means we need to either say era or eran. So if it's 3, do we need era or eran?
Iran.
So it was 3 p.m. Eran las 3 de la tarde. So bringing in the date. If I want to say it was Tuesday, May 2nd. Tuesday, is it going to be era or eran? Which would mean it was Tuesday, May 2nd, right? So majority of this story is our next one, habitual action. Is to express a habit or action that occurred indefinitely, meaning that there is no indication that he stopped or she stopped doing it, and or it happened frequently. So if you flip this lovely paper over, you ready? Da-da-da. These are all habitual action keywords. The only one that is not is de niño, which we would indicate for age. And then I pulled the other one out, which is mientras, which is while. But all of these others, and since you guys have already studied the preterite keywords, and now you will have the imperfect keywords, 50% of what you need to know for these two verb tenses will be knowing that what these words indicate. if we talk about something happening often, sometimes, every day, every year, frequently, from time to time, frequently, all of those will indicate, guarantee that what you're supposed to be using is the imperfect tense. So if you see this word, todos los días, you know that verb has to be in the imperfect. So, see that word? It's a guarantee. So I posted on Google Classroom and on your Quizlet. I took both sets of words. I put the preterite and the imperfect keywords and I smushed them together so you can start practicing them. Ready? Flip. So habitual action. So basically I want to say like, I always walk to school every day. So how would I say I always walk to school every day?
Yo siempre.
And I put a double whammy in there. I put every day, which is a habitual word, and I put always. So I put 2 habitual words in there. So you could say yo siempre, or it doesn't matter the order of that piece. So you got siempre, which walked in the imperfect form. Andar. So what I'm going to say what? Andaba. It's going to sound funny when we start talking. Siempre andaba a la escuela cada día. Here's another description. Weather. It doesn't have to be just weather either. It could be the condition outside. So it could be cold. You could be talking about that it's light out, it's bright, it's dark. You're describing the scenery outside. All of that would be including weather. So let's see what we got here. How would I say it was cold? How do I say it is cold?
Hace frío.
Hace frío. So that means we need to take my verb hacer and put it in the imperfect. Hacía. How do I say the verb to rain? Llover. So if I want to say it was raining, but there's another way you could say it was raining. Because we can say llueve, or we can say está lloviendo. How would we put that in the imperfect tense? Does this look familiar to you? Looks a little bit like what tense? Looks like present progressive. So both are indicating that it was raining. Action in progress. This is your ing. Anytime you say somebody or something was doing something, ing, then that's going to be an action in progress. So let's come up with an example. They were dancing. How would I write they were dancing? It's going to be 2 words. Okay. Bailaban. They were dancing. So there's your action in progress. I'm going to skip down to this one real quick. Simultaneous action are 2 of these together. So they were dancing and singing would work. So the word and could be a good clue word. But what happens if I'm doing something and you're doing something at the exact same time? So let's put a little examples here. As I was going through all these notes here, you guys were listening, right? Tú escuchabas y yo hablaba. So you were listening and I was talking or speaking. But an actual better word for us to put in here will be the word mientras. The word mientras means while. Guess what a wonderful clue word for is for here if we use mientras? Will indicate what? Imperfect tense. So, this is going on while this was going on. Ing, ing. So let's scoot back to the last one here. Desire. So these are the verbs like creer, pensar, querer, saber. Any kind of verb that involves a thought process. What's creer mean? What do you remember? Believe. So believe, to think, to want, to know. All of these things involve your cerebro, your brain. So you're indicating a state of mind. These are going to be imperfect because you're describing your state of mind. So you may desire to, let's see, I wanted to eat ice cream. Quería comer helado. So I'm describing what I wanted, but what I wanted in the past. So the key word here is describe. Describe in ing, ing, ing. Describe, describe in ing, ing, ing. So if you're describing something, or somebody was doing something in the past, this is when you use the imperfect, which now will allow us to expand on our stories and our vocabulary. We will be able to now say, instead of first he went to the store, then he did it. Now you say, yesterday it was really warm outside and I wanted to go to the store to buy some ice cream. So notice all that stuff you couldn't say before this. So if you wanted to describe what it was like outside, how you were feeling, what you wanted, all those things, you were unable to do so, which made your essays very boring. But now we're going to have a lot of fun with this. So, you guys ready? Listo? See? Good. So this is what was going to happen next. You guys are going to go on to Quizlet.